Welcome back to Straight Talk. I'm Laurel Porter. It's summer of 2017, but there's already discussion about the next Oregon governor's race. At this time next year, we'll be in the thick of the 2018 campaign. And there are murmurs about which GOP contenders will step up to face Democrat Kate Brown. We've heard names like Representative Newt Bueller of Bend and Republican Secretary of State Dennis Richardson. Now there's talk the mayor of Happy Valley may run, Lori Chavez-DeRemer. I had a chance to talk to her earlier this week. Here's our conversation. Welcome, Mayor, to Straight Talk. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Once word got out that you might run for governor, what kind of reaction are you getting?
Positive reaction. I think it's exciting for the citizens of Happy Valley who know me. My family's interested and excited about this, but most of the feedback has been through my fellow mayors who think this is exactly what we should be doing.
How confident are you at this point that you will run, or are you just testing the waters?
Well, I think that to make a decision like this, we tend to say, what's important, what's not important, how do we include our families? This is a big decision, a position like this. But I'm fairly confident this is the route that I'm taking.
Well, let's take a look at your bio so our viewers can get to know you a little bit better. Chavez-DeRemer has been the mayor of Happy Valley since 2010. She was reelected in 2014. She's the first female mayor of a city. Before she was mayor, she was on the city council and served as council president. In 2016, Chavez-DeRemer ran a strong race for the Oregon House seat vacated by Shemia Fagan in House District 51. She lost to current Representative Democrat Janelle Bynum 51 to 49%. It became the most expensive House race in Oregon history, with the two candidates spending a total of about $2 million. She graduated with a business degree from Cal State University Fresno, and shortly after, she and her husband moved to Happy Valley to raise their twin daughters, who've now graduated from college. She and her husband, Dr. Sean DeRemer, co-founded Anesthesia Associates Northwest LLC. And you were also named the Republican Dorchester Conference Rising Star of 2017. Tell us, though, why you want to be governor.
Sure. As I mentioned just in the opening, there's lots of factors that we lean to about why we would do this important job. And it is, I would say, one of the most important jobs in the state of Oregon. And I keep coming back to the very reason that I thought it was important to be the mayor, and that's leadership, or quite frankly, lack thereof, that I believe. I think it's important when we're deciding why we would do something like this, what sticks out, whether it be trying to fix the problems of the state, trying to address what citizens complain about or affect their daily lives, and really all I come back to is this leadership and that we're not seeing that with our current governor. And it inspires me, and I hear it constantly from my mayors and fellow mayors, that if we don't stay focused on all the problems for all the people in the state of Oregon, then we're not going to get the job done.
Happy Valley is a growing city. It's the fastest growing city in the state, but it's still small, less than 20,000 people. So some people may look at that and go, that's a big leap to go from mayor of Happy Valley to wanting to be the state's top elected officials. What are your credentials? What qualifies you to be governor?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I asked myself that same question, and what comes to mind is there's 241 cities in Oregon. Happy Valley ranks in the 30th position, or 32nd position in size. So the issues are the same. When I talk to the mayor of Portland or the mayor of Beaverton or some of these larger cities, the issues don't change, right? So what affects my citizens affects their citizens. So it really comes back to, can you be a good leader? I've had 7 years of executive experience actually growing a city from 4,000 to 20,000 people. Those growing pains, they don't change. So I think that, coupled with building a business from the ground up for the last 12 years, being a mom, being having the experience of leadership is the key. So I don't know what the credentials or the prerequisites are that people will say, well, a governor needs to jump through certain ranks. I don't buy it. I think it's, can you lead and can you be effective? And I've proven to be able to do so. And
you've spoken about leadership. You've been critical, as you mentioned earlier, of Governor Kate Brown's leadership. And earlier this month, you wrote an op-ed piece that ran in the Oregonian. You said you spent a lot of time in Salem at the Capitol as Happy Valley's mayor on a number of issues, and here's part of what you wrote. Throughout the halls of our Capitol, I have seen countless legislators meeting with different groups, but one person that I haven't seen during this session is Kate Brown. Where has our governor been? Now the real issue seems to be that she's too focused on her 2018 re-election efforts and does not see the issues in our state as her first priority. A strong governor should be someone that's available to meet with all legislators, regardless of party. Kate Brown should be seen at the state capitol. It's essential that our governor is available for the public during the session, and you called it a crisis of leadership. Is that fair to call it a crisis of leadership?
I do think it's fair to say so. A governor, again, parallels to me a mayor. As mayors, the citizens, we don't ask, are they Republican or are they Democrat? We care about their issues and we have to solve those issues. I see the governor the same way, where we have to listen to all sides, and our current governor isn't listening to all sides, and that's a lack in leadership. We know that the issues that are looming in education, transportation, deficits that affect everyday lives, my citizens' everyday lives. How does that translate? Well, transportation package translates into potholes. Transportation package translates into congestion and not being able to get home to their families. So those kind of issues, you need a leader who's going to talk to all sides. So yes, I have been at the Capitol as the mayor, lobby on behalf of the citizens of Happy Valley, Clackamas County, and the region, and work with my fellow mayors to do the same for all the issues. So when I'm at the Capitol and the frustration that I see from the legislators, from the lobbyists, I think sometimes they don't know who to look to say, what are we solving and how are we going to get there? And it's that leadership that I think is missing.
You talked about transportation. You've been very vocal about the need for that too. In February, near the start of this year's legislative session, you wrote another op-ed piece in the Oregonian. Here's part of what you wrote about transportation. It's one of my top priorities in Happy Valley, and it should be for the legislature. Oregon has one of the worst traffic problems in the country, and legislators are letting special interests derail priorities. One of our state representatives held a transportation town hall in Happy Valley, only to walk away telling us there's a need. We know that. The need for new infrastructure is old news, and Oregonians expect a solution. We're taping this, Mayor, on Thursday. We hear they may have a transportation deal, may be a bit watered down from the original one. There are a lot of amendments. But for what you're hearing right now, do you think it'll be enough to make things better in Happy Valley?
Well, I hope so. I hope that what we see, I don't know the details of what they passed or what they're looking at passing. I know that there's not been a vote. So we want to make sure it gets to the finish line. But at the end of the finish line, is it what the citizens are believing that they're getting? One. Two, is it going to address those issues that affect their everyday lives, the congestion, the potholes, and what is that going to cost the citizens to have those? So those are the questions I ask myself. But again, it comes to leadership. What process did we have to get to? How far did we have to let it go in order to have this deal that we don't even know what's in the package? So I'll wait to find out, like most citizens will wait to see. But I find it frustrating that we have to have what we have at that state legislature in order to get here, that it has to be in a crisis to come up with what package that they believe they're going to come up with.
You're focusing on leadership, and you'd be a Republican governor with likely majority Democrats in the House and Senate. What would you do to bring them together to be able to advance your agenda, to get things done?
Yeah, I draw on the experience of mayor, and I say that often, and I say it with pride, because I'm sensitive to those issues. I'm sensitive to, again, as my citizen, I don't know who's a Republican and who's a Democrat, and to be quite honest with you, as mayors, when we sit in a room, and we do that once a month, 25 metropolitan mayors, and at the OMA conference every year, you're looking at hundreds of mayors. I don't know who's a Republican and who's a Democrat. The issue is we have the same issues, the same problems that affect our everyday lives. So bringing that together in the state legislative race that I just ran, it was important to listen to and bring to the table what that issue is, validate what's important, validate what they think is valuable to them in their everyday life, and then come to the table. Coming to the table is half the battle, getting people to the table, and it takes a leader to do so. And I don't think our current governor brings anybody to the table.
You are involved with the Oregon League of Minority Voters, and after this you're going over to a dinner, their annual fundraiser, the Liberty and Hope Dinner. How challenging is it to try to engage minority voters in the Republican Party, get them to vote Republican?
Sure. So I'm new to the board and I'm excited to be a part of it. I get to MC the event tonight and honor people who have done just that mission of listening to what a minority voice sounds like. Where do they come from? What are their experiences? And the youth are what's involved. That's why I have a passion for this particular board. In Happy Valley Youth Council, same thing. It's important for those young people who are so intelligent and so smart to say what's valuable to them in their state, what's valuable to them in their communities, and can we enhance that? So having that voice coming from a minority family and understanding the pathways to get there, we can do that. We can inspire those people to say, you know what, I can care about the same issues you care about. It doesn't mean I have to be in opposition to the other side necessarily. I don't have to not like the other side to get my way. I just want to be valued, my opinion to be heard, and that we can bring people together to make the best decision for the state of Oregon. Just
a few seconds left. Anything else you'd like to say to our viewers today?
Well, certainly I want to thank you for having me here to share my voice and my opinion, and I appreciate that. But to all Oregonians, this is an important time for Oregon. The history of Oregon is ready to be innovative and inspiring, and I want to be the one to inspire the state back to where it used to be be inclusive of everybody, and I think now's the time.
Mayor Lori Chavez-DeRemer, thank you for joining us here on Straight Talk.
Thank you for having me.
We always welcome your comments. You can send them to us on Twitter. Follow us at KGW Straight Talk. Thanks once again to my guests, Attorney General Alan Rosenblum and Happy Valley Mayor Lori Chavez-DeRemer. And thank you for watching. Join me next week when my guest is Oregon Governor Kate Brown. Have a great 4th of July.